Let me now show date matching with the date command. So I have a different iTunes library up here with some old-time radio, a couple Whistler playlists. I have a Whistler rotation that shows the 150 least recently played, and then I've got all of my Whistler episodes here. They all have dates in a date format. You can use multiple different kinds of date formats. So over here in Scheduler, I'm going to create a new program. I'll call it Whistler. Spell that right. I think I can make it by 4 p.m. Let's try this. 4 p.m. all days. And it'll be a 30-minute show. We'll leave this off for now. We'll see if we really need it or not. I don't think we do. In the script, I'm going to start with a time command, interrupt at the top of the hour. You could have a station ID here. I don't happen to have station IDs in this particular iTunes library, so what I'm going to do is start with an intro command. So it's going to introduce the artist in this case being the Whistler I'll be selecting from. And now I want to pick pretty much today's date. It doesn't matter what year. And this will match formats it describes here. The format I'll be matching here will be the second one, the year for the first two digits, the month for the next two digits, and then the date. So it looks for this pattern. It doesn't need to match the year. It can, but it doesn't need to. And we'll pick today's date if it can. It will pick the month and day if it can. And these are the different patterns you can use. You can have this anywhere in the text. It can be at the beginning, it can be at the end, it can be in the middle. If there's a space on either side of it, I think that will work. I don't know if you can have like parentheses around it, but just having spaces around it, etc., that should all work. So, date command. I want to pick first from the least recently played. So we'll go into the Whistler rotation. If we can, let's pick today's date of something that hasn't played recently. And if we find multiple of that, let's select it by random. If we can't find today's date in this rotation, let's have a fallback playlist where we look at all of the Whistler episodes for this date match. Let's introduce another idea. Let's do, hey, what if we can't find anything? Today's date being April Fool's Day. Happy April Fool's Day. Let's try for going back one day or forward one day. I'll go forward one day for now, but you could go back one day. Date plus 1. And we'll look for the same thing. Whistler rotation, random, and then fall back to Whistler all. All right, now I have two date commands. Now you're thinking, well, now we're scheduling two Whistlers. You're right, we are. But we can turn one of these into a failover. And what that means is if this line fails, this line is going to be tried. And you could do multiples of these. You could set up a bunch of these. So I say, well, did date plus 1 work? All right, let's try date minus 1. Set up the same thing. Make it a failover. Same playlists. All. And if we can't find even that, we could go date plus 2, date minus 2, or we can fall all the way back. This is going to be guaranteed. We can do a month. Let's just make sure we have the right month. At least we'll be in the right season, right? And same thing here. Pick randomly from it, make it a failover. Okay, so if it does find April 1st, this line will succeed, all of these will fail. If this line fails, you get it. These are failover lines. These are only going to execute if the previous line failed. At the end of this, let's add an outro, and it's going to go look for, in this case, I've made a artist outro. The artist here is the Whistler, and I have intro and outro files for the Whistler. So I have an outro, and we could put all kinds of different station elements here, but I think what I'm going to do at this point is fill to the bottom of this half hour with some classical music. So we'll go with classical music. This can be a rotated playlist, and I'm just going to go with random for right now. And we'll set that to a minimum of 30 minutes. In fact, we could go for the maximum of 30 minutes. If we do the minimum and the maximum the exact same, it'll actually do something special. It will actually search for an exact fit to naturally end the track at that time. So there's no harm in putting in such a stringent requirement. It will actually cause it to hunt for a perfect fit to get there. You know, if it can't find it, if you don't have the inventory for it, it's going to err on the side of getting past the minimum and error on the side of going further than the minimum. So it will always fulfill the minimum when you do this, assuming you have tracks that are there that can do that, of course. So let me review. Looks good. Intro, date. Hopefully I got all this right on the first try. We'll find out. We've got our 4 p.m. We're coming up on 4 p.m. Let's give it a go. See what it comes up with. It's a rather large library, so it didn't take too long. And found tracks in the classical music. It found 497 in the big Whistler playlist, 150 of the least recently in the other. Adds everything. Hits the intro track, does the date, randomly picks. It finds one track with a date match. Hey, yay. And then it goes ahead and adds the intro, because now it knows what kind of track it got, what artist it is. And then it further goes on and puts in the track, which matches the date here, April 1st of 1951. Puts the outro in, and then fills with classical music. Let's go see what it looks like in DJ. Looks pretty simple. And it gets us right pretty close to a natural ending. Maybe not quite, but very, very close to a natural ending. And that is date matching.